Hi everyone, and welcome to the Scorpio April 2022 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance, or more simply put, to better find where you fit. Welcome all of my lovely Scorpios, or anybody who is new to the channel. This is a reading that is meant to help you find the meaning in the challenge or challenges you are currently experiencing in the month of April, and to take a look at why. Why are you being asked by Spirit to face and overcome this challenge? What are you meant to learn about your path, your purpose, and some unique part of yourself that's meant to be expressed? All right, so we're going to jump right in here. We are going to pull a card first to take a look at your internal energy, Scorpio. What are you bringing into the month of April? And then I'm going to pull a card to take a look at what's going on in your external energy. And we will see why you are being asked to engage yourself with your environment and what you're meant to learn about yourself and any blocks that might be coming up around that. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I just want to let you guys know, I don't put reversals in my deck. So when a card comes up reversed like this, I leave it as such. Now I'll read it as such, but that is a very pointed message from Spirit there. So, okay, interesting. All right. So you know what, Scorpio, right off the bat, before I get into explaining the cards here and pulling additional cards to clarify, I'm going to say right off the bat that the month of April is going to be a month of learning that, and I hate to say it like this, but kind of learning that you have to step up into that place of power and get out of your head, and no one's coming to free you but you. I'm getting a little bit of like you stepping into being the hero of your own story. So I'm going to get into this a little bit. And this is meant, I think this is a big month of you. And I know from doing all of your readings for the past few months, they've been really empowering, really, there's so much growth going on with you guys. And I think this is that month where you get to step into that place of authority in your own life. And why am I saying that? So you are entering the month with the energy of the King of Pentacles. This is a beautiful energy. This is the energy of understanding your own ability to affect your physical abundance and what you choose to manifest for yourself in the physical world. When it's an internal energy, this is the knowledge that you know where to apply your time and energy, and you're not going to just waste your time on things that do not hold value to you. So I really do feel like your whole journey up to this point was really about diving deep and really digging into who you are as an individual and what you value, not what you're told to value, not tiptoeing around other people and what they again value and you trying to kind of fit in there. This is about you owning what you value, you owning what you value in yourself, and you understanding now how to wield that awareness of your own self-value and also what you value with authority. Now in your external environment, we have the Six of Pentacles, we have the Four of Swords, we have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Ten of Cups reversed, which is interesting. So what I'm seeing here with the Six of Pentacles, this is a card of getting to that place where we understand that the energy we put in is eventually returned to us, even if in the moment it didn't seem like we were getting a return on our investment. It's also a lovely reminder of just the balance, that at some point in our life, every one of us will be on the giving end of things, and at another point will be on the receiving end. But this is a card that shows now that you've kind of left that, you're one pentacle out of that kind of poverty mindset of, I don't have enough. This says, I have enough, and things are balancing out. I'm starting to see a return on my investment. With the Four of Swords, this is a card of really sitting and reflecting, being able to weed out the wounds from the past, the stories that kind of haunt us on a mental level, and being able to pull out our truth from that. So getting rid of all of that kind of negative talk in our heads of the people who have hurt us in the past through their words or actions, the situations that made us feel like we were less than, and to really allow yourself to just let those go and walk away with the truth of who you are and what you are without those kind of ghosts of the past replaying in your head. Now with the Eight of Wands, this can be quick, fast-paced energy. This can be actually quick communication or communication via email. Now with the Ten of Cups coming in reverse, the Ten of Cups upright is the happy family card. This is the card of your ultimate heart's fulfillment. It's a card of, wow, I have everything I've ever wanted and then some, and enough to share with others. It's just a beautiful energy. But with this coming up reverse, there's almost that feeling of one of two things. Either you feel that there's, for some of you, this can be that you've gotten to a place where, and I'm going to just say this because again, there's a few very specific messages coming in. There is this feeling that you are contemplating on somewhere in your life, that there's something going on in your external environment where you might have to be in a place to give to another. And that there's communication around that is, you might feel like it's going to be disruptive to this happy family card, or it's something along the lines where you might have to kind of disassociate or tell somebody in your life that you can't give them something. Or it could be on the reverse. This could be where somebody is coming in to, maybe you're the one in need asking for something, and somebody is coming back and telling you about, like this could actually be where somebody is telling you that this is a very specific message, again, just for maybe a couple of you out there, that somebody is coming in to tell you about a breakup, a divorce, some kind of upsetting, something that's upsetting on a deep emotional level around a family unit, or again, what this person really loved about their life, and that there's kind of an asking for help, and there's a feeling of kind of thinking about it, being in this place of I have to kind of deliberate, what do I want to do? Now, for those of you that this doesn't have anything to do with somebody specifically communicating to you in that way or asking for help around a breakup or a really kind of dramatic and upsetting change in their family life, this could actually be where you're getting to a place where things are balancing out. You have a little bit more than you've had before, and you understand that. You're in a place to be able now to kind of let go of the wounds of the past. And now there's this quick energy allowing you to face almost what you've been kind of not wanting to face, which is this feeling that you're not worthy of your heart's fulfillment, that you're not worthy of moving, that somehow there's not going to be this ability for you to have this beautiful experience for yourself. And why you're being asked right now to take out this very powerful version of yourself, this version of yourself that you know your value now. No one can tell you where to put your time and energy, because without you valuing it and making the conscious choice of understanding, I'm choosing to do this because I see the return on my investment, that in understanding that, you're being asked now to like go that one final step to really facing your insecurities around your ability to go out and achieve your heart's desire, achieve the happy family, or whatever you feel equates to that in your life, whatever you feel that if kind of, I always like to equate this to a little bit of that feeling of, you know, heaven on earth for you as an individual. What would feel like that for you? And really, where do you feel that you're not worthy of that or not capable of that. Because that's where the lesson is coming in here for you guys, is that with the Eight of Swords is a card where we are trapped on a mental level by the negative thoughts where we tell ourselves we can't, it will never happen, this is just the way things are. And what you can see in this image here is that the woman who is standing among all of these swords she's blindfolded and bound around her hands, but she is free to walk forward and away from these swords. And eventually, as she does so, these are loose bindings. What binds her hands will fall away, and eventually she'll be able to remove the blindfold. But it's that understanding of when we become trapped by our thoughts, they are literally just thoughts. They are not. There is nothing in the physical realm holding us back from taking action aside from ourselves, we are only trapped by what we choose in a mental plane to trap ourselves by. And so there's this really kind of juxtaposition of really being a king, having this ownership, this authority among the realm of the physical, but then not allowing yourself to fully step up into that because of your thoughts. And that's really going to, so this month it's going to be, it could be a little emotional for you guys, because you are going to be addressing, I think, really what you want for yourself, what equates to that kind of heaven on earth feeling for you. And maybe dealing with, I'm really getting the strong feeling around, you're kind of in this place of healing. That's really what the Four of Swords is around, healing, that finally you've kind of come out of like a tough time, feeling less than, and now you're going through that, yay, I'm finally healing the wounds of the past. And then all of a sudden there's communication. Now this could be communication from maybe a past romantic partner, and suddenly you remember the upset that occurred. You maybe are able to see the wound again fresh as to where you thought you weren't able to, achieve this for yourself. Or you get communication from a family member. I mean, this could even be good communication where a family member is like, yay, I'm getting married. And you're like, yay, I'm not. And it's not to say anything negative against you, Scorpio. It's to say that sometimes when we feel that way, when we hear a piece of positive news around something happening for somebody else and we're like, ugh, there's a feeling there of, it's holding a mirror up to yourself as to what you feel you can't have for yourself. Or there's that feeling of, well, how come it won't happen for me? And this is where we have to step into that place of understanding that everybody's heaven on earth is different. That's why you could ask every single person on this earth what their idea of heaven would be, and it would be very different from everybody else, because each one of us is a unique individual with unique needs to be filled to allow us to feel the Ten of Cups. And sometimes we don't, we may, yes, let's say want to be engaged and want to be in a job that pays X amount of money, and we want to be seen as da-da-da, and there are other people who want those same things, but the way in which we need to have those fulfilled, like with a person of blah, 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 working in a way that is tailored to you, living in a place or in an environment that works for you, all those things are fine-tuned to you, and you get to create those in the physical for yourself. So this is that beautiful lesson of learning that even as you're healing and you're coming into this place of really like feeling good about yourself, that there might be a piece of communication that comes in this month that makes you feel all of a sudden like all this great work you've done, all of you stepping into your power, all of this is going to make you feel somehow like you're not worthy of this. And all that work for self-value and everything else is going to feel for a second like it's going to be thrown out the window. And what Spirit's trying to tell you is, no, it's not. No, that's all in your head. You've worked hard to get to this place, Scorpio. Stay there. Stay there and own it. And don't let anybody allow you to add more swords to your mental space aside from the one sword of true truth, which is you are intrinsically free to live your truth and to be in a position of power to create the lifestyle that you want for yourself. And you are worthy of love. And you are worthy of whatever you need to have fulfilled to allow you to feel a 10 of Cups. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. I can't believe I went into that just for so long there without pulling additional cards, but the message is very clear here for you, Scorpio. So I'm going to go ahead and pull additional cards now to take a look at the additional blocks. You know, what's really going on between you just stepping up into this beautiful place of, again, authority. I'm really hearing authority. And you kind of being placed back in this position of like, oh man, I can't have that. That will never happen to me. I can't do, or never happen for me, and I can't do that. Okay, so we have the Five of Wands. We have the Hierophant. So the Five of Wands is an energy. So this is your main challenge. And your whoa, that's a lot. You can see though the Eight of Wands came up again, but this is way too many cards. So I'm going to see if it comes out again here. So there is something about, oh, yes. Okay, love it, Scorpio. Of course, that comes up at the heart of your reading, the Emperor. Authority. That is all about authority and taking ownership in your life. But to go back, so to the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is an energy that really speaks, really speaks to kind of chaos. It's a little bit of a like too many cooks in the kitchen type energy, but it can also be where we get to go out there and test the waters, where we get to kind of jump back in someplace and see. It's almost like getting out there to practice, you know, okay, what does it feel like to work with this passion again? Or what does it feel like to take action in this area? And where this can become a block is when we're afraid to get back out there again. This is like realizing, you know, you hear some communication, let's say from a family member, and they're like, oh, I'm engaged. And you're like, oh, how come it's like one of those things of like, man, I've dated X amount of people. I should have been, I'm 5 years older than my sister. I should have been the one to be engaged by now and to be married and blah, 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 blah. And now you're sitting there and you're thinking about it, and all of a sudden, you know, your 10 of Cups feels so far away, but yet you're not jumping out there into the dating world again. You've kind of pulled yourself back and you're like, oh, I can't do it anymore. And yet in reality, in order for you to find somebody, you have to get out there and you have to keep testing the water. You have to keep putting yourself kind of into the mix, so to speak. And, you know, this could also look like, you know, you get communication possibly from, let's say, you know, I mean, this can be anything where you get communication. Let's say you're worried about work and you have been waiting for this big promotion that's supposed to come your way. And all of a sudden you hear from a friend that they just landed this amazing job with a title that you wanted, and suddenly they're making 50K more than you. And you're like, oh my God. But you're too afraid to go out there and start job searching. Instead, you're just like hanging out, waiting for your company to promote you. When in reality, if you would take the risk and kind of go back out there into the job pool, you might be able to do the same thing. So that's really where the Five of Wands can become that block of like, I don't want to get back out there. And it could be for multiple reasons. Either you're too afraid, you think you're not, you know, worthy, or it's just something that seems a little chaotic and kind of, you know, it's going to change up your schedule. You're going to have to deal with something that's out of your routine. But with the Hierophant coming in right after that, the Hierophant, these are the rules we choose to follow. These are the rules that we hold ourselves to. These are the rules that society holds us to. But in reality, it's us choosing to abide by those rules, whether they are made by us or whether they are imposed upon us by our external environment, and we choose to follow them. And there's this feeling here of It's time to break the rules a little bit, Scorpio. I think you guys have been living within this very tight sphere of I have to do it in this way. And maybe actually being jealous of those that have kind of done it their own way or haven't played by the rules, where they've, this would be like somebody who, changes a job every 6 months, and yet you've watched this person end up now making a ton of money more than you. When we're told in the work world that, you should stay at a place of work for X amount of time because it looks good on a resume and it allows you, and it's like, it didn't work for that other person. And they chose to do what worked for them. There's this feeling here around almost like you stepping up into your power, but I feel coming through this level of frustration around why it's almost like it's time for you to not play by the rules. It's time for you to free yourself of all these mental restrictions that you've held yourself, I think, to allow yourself that space to rest and rejuvenate and be able to clarify for yourself what you need separate from others. But now it's like this place of like where you're being asked to kind of get back out into life, and you're angry around the people who are not following the same rules that you put up, the same barriers you put up for yourself to protect you while you were going through this kind of cocooning and gestational phase of becoming the butterfly. And it's not for the butterfly to be angry at the caterpillar because everybody is going through their own growth and transformation. The butterfly now is somebody who should be showing off in all their shining glory to show others what we can each be truly capable of doing when we focus on ourselves and our own path. And I'm getting that really clearly here, Scorpio, that it is time for you to stop trying to control others or stop trying to think that things are kind of, beyond, that basically stop thinking that you have to play by the rules to get to where you want to go. It's more about realizing you play by your own rules. You are the king here. You're the king of pentacles. It's time you want to invest your money in something risky. Well, then I'm not giving you advice. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is the feeling of it. If you want to choose to put your money here when somebody else has told you, well, that's risky and you shouldn't do that, it's better to put it over here. You know now at this point through experience what you're capable of. And if you choose to want to put it over here in a far more risky investment, well, that is your choice, and you can do that. You don't have to listen to everybody and all the rules and everything that everybody said, because I hate to say it, fortune favors the bold. Whether it's somebody who's famous and they get out there by doing something bold to attract attention, and it might not be the best way to get famous, but they do it anyways, that's their means to an end. And it fulfilled some need within them to do that. But where this is all kind of cruxing around is the Emperor card. This is at the heart of your reading, and it's what Spirit's asking you to embrace, to really free you from this kind of mental imprisonment of the rules I have to follow. Where the Emperor, he's the Emperor. We are each the Emperor of our own lives. We get to set the rules. We are in a position where we can also see for the greater good of our empire what needs to be done. When you think of, kings and queens and emperors and people who are at the top, I mean, even up to, owners of big companies and CEOs and people like that, that often they are being tasked to make big decisions and big, long-reaching decisions that have an impact that has to take in a lot more than just what can be immediately seen. And there's a little bit of that going on here with you, with stepping into the position of the Emperor, is to understand you need to see the long game, Scorpio. That's really what's going on here. That you need to see, first of all, identify really what is that 10 of Cups for you. What is your heart's fulfillment, that part of yourself that, like, when somebody communicated something to you, you were like, I want that. I want that for me. And then start to understand how that fits into the bigger picture of who you are, what you value about yourself, and your whole journey up to this point. And really start to lay that foundation of, okay, understanding it is for you, it will happen for you, and what do you need to do to make that happen for you? Not what you need to do within the rules, what you need to do now for you. If you've only been at a job for 6 months, but you're feeling that there are bigger opportunities, that you've gleaned all the information you can from this job and it's time to go, well, Scorpio, then it's time to go. No one's going to tell the emperor that he has to spend X amount of time doing anything, because he's the emperor and the emperor is making the decision. Right after this, we have the Five of Swords. This is where, so the Five of Swords, Temperance is your final challenge point, but the Five of Swords is that this is the card of wanting to win at all costs. This is where you're going to put up that fight, and doesn't matter what you say or who you are, I'm not going to listen. I'm going to just keep stating my truth or my opinion or the way it should be, and if everybody walks away from me, so be it. So there's kind of like a double-edged, forgive me, it's the Five of Swords, but there's a double-edged sword component to this card coming up in the position that it's in. There is this can be kind of a negative energy in that, when we go to win at all cost, we have to understand the cost that we're giving up. If it's friends, if it's work environment, meaning that it also could be a loss of money, if it's the loss of a close family member's affections, things like that. But we have to understand that if as the emperor, you choose to kind of make that stand and you put up that barrier and you say, no, I'm going to do this because, then you have to really understand the long-term implication of that. Because right after that comes Temperance, and Temperance is a beautiful card. It's actually a card of divine timing. It's one in tempering our emotions with our passion, meaning that we are now learning how to take action from a place of emotion, what we are emotionally connected to, and also we also understand the importance of, we can't just sit with emotions without taking action. So this would be like, I feel like I want something, I feel like I want it, but you're not actually taking action towards getting it. So there's this beautiful feeling of divine timing coming in and allowing you to really blend like that feeling of, well, what do you want? And now couple it with your emotion and go to get it. But when this can become a kind of that final block is when we're too busy being stuck in our mind, kind of fighting that internal mental fight of, no, I have to follow the rules. No, I have to do it this way. No, they have to do it this way. No, they should do it, that kind of thing. And we're not moving into a place of emotion and passion. We're not connecting. And really, for me, what I believe truly is that emotion and passion, those two things come directly from the spiritual side to ourselves. And that just like our physical, just like our mental, and just like our emotional selves, the spiritual self really has to be healthy, just as healthy as those other three aspects of our experience. Because when we don't have a healthy, I equate spirituality to a healthy view of yourself and who you are and how you value yourself, and a healthy view of your external environment, where you fit into everything, and kind of you being able to see the meaning in what you do and who you are and why you should continue to engage with life. And there's this feeling here of really understanding that, of tapping into only really what you can tap into, Scorpio, on such a powerful level, which is the spiritual plane. Spiritual plane and your emotional plane, so you have both. It's really diving in there and really testing the waters to see how healthy that side of you is right now. That your own self-view really lines up with your own value right now and your own potential. And that you also see your external environment in a healthy way as well. That you don't see the outside world as a bunch of adversaries or people who are going to break your rules, or filled with things that are going to break your heart. It's that the outside world is filled with nothing but, you know, another almost 9 billion other emperors aside from you. We are each the center of our own unique universe. We are each the emperor in our own empire. So just as we have to make the decisions for ourselves that are within our own good, we have to allow others to do that, the same for themselves in the way that they need to do that. And once you let that go, that's when you get out of your head. You kind of almost like, it's like you get the key, you release, you open the gate, and you allow yourself this beautiful, it's like you step out into the sun, the sunlight, and you see the beautiful stream, and you kind of cleanse yourself and realize, I can step into that healthy place of spiritual awareness where I am aware of my emotions, and I can bring my emotions safely, securely, and vulnerably into every action that I take. And those actions are going to directly align with my ultimate heart's fulfillment. All right, Scorpio. I'm going to go ahead and pull 3 final cards here. One for the concept of curiosity, one for the concept of courage, and one for the concept of contemplation. And this is where we are going to take a look at where Spirit would like you to be curious and open to for the month of April, where Spirit would like you to be courageous and taking action, and where Spirit would like you to contemplate and reflect on. So this card here coming up, oh, I love it. Oh, Scorpio. Okay, so we have Door to Romance. So this card is about opening yourself up to curiosity, to ask yourself a question throughout the month of April, to allow Spirit, this kind of channel, to come in and bring something to your awareness that you weren't already aware of, to kind of help with this challenge here. So we have Door to Romance, number 33. It's a master number 33, but if you were to break 33 down, it would equate to the number 6, which is the number that resonates with the energy of love. I love this card. Now, I don't just look at this as romance in like romantic partnership. I also look at this as the door to stepping back in to feeling the romance of life again, to feeling that rush of excitement when the first day of a new job that you're so excited to start, the first time you get to go out with a person that you are romantically interested in, the phone call from a friend you haven't talked to in a long time, who every time you talk, you guys just have the most enlightening conversations and you walk away feeling 20,000 times better about yourself. It's that. It's the ability to see the beauty in everything and feel it on a level that is new and fresh and exciting. It's falling in love with your experience. So the question to ask yourself this month is, where are you denying yourself on a mental plane the possibility of opening the door to feeling this way about your entire life? What are the thoughts holding you back? Where are you trying to control, holding the door open only this big, instead of just letting the doors open and you just letting the breeze carry in all of these lovely fluttering hearts? And I think that's going to really point you, when the answers come in, it's going to point you to what you just need to release. Okay, so now I'm going to pull a card here for the concept of courage, and this is where Spirit would like you to have the courage to take action, to really take action and stepping up into the position of emperor within your own life, and realizing that your dreams are meant to be fulfilled by you, and you have every right to fulfill them in a way that works for you. And now this doesn't mean that obviously you should go out and do things that are detrimental to others, meaning that it's not about, well, I want money, so I'm going to break into my neighbor's house and steal what they have. it's about understanding that you can make for yourself what you want in a way that works for you. So you don't have to, again, have the career that takes, 25 years to get to a certain salary level. You could decide that you want to pursue a side hobby that could easily, because it's something new and exciting and you're bringing a fresh take to it, could suddenly make you a lot of money out of the blue. And you don't have to work the 25 years. Or you might find that you don't want to live that lifestyle that everybody else around you is living, where they live in the house with the 2.5 children and the SUV and all of that. You want to live a life where you're not tied down and you're free to travel and you're free to date whoever you want. And well, so be it. If that's your 10 of Cups, well, then that's where you start to take the steps to do that. If you're sitting on a nest egg of, $50,000, and you can invest that in a townhouse or a home, or you can travel the world while you are developing a new idea, well, that's your choice to make. And you can't allow anybody to tell you what's the right path for you. You just have to lean into and understand what works for you. I love, of course, that this card comes up because it ties directly to Temperance. It says, surrender to divine timing. Sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting fast enough according to your ego, be patient and trust the universal flow. And I think that this is kind of an underlying message coming through of, this initial frustration over here with some type of communication. You might feel like, well, what's even the point of me dating? Because I'm already at this age. If I do go out and date, I'll have to date for at least a year before then we might get engaged, and that's another year. And then by that time, then maybe we'll start the family, and I'm getting too old. And if I don't have a kid by the end of this year, it's never, it's like one of those things where all of a sudden you get to this point where you're like, again, the Five of Swords, talking yourself out of it. Instead of just trusting in that you want the relationship, you want kids, so go out there and start making it happen. And you know what? The way it happens is the way that it's meant to happen for you. So I love the saying of, when we go for what we want, we get what we need. Meaning that we might not get the exact outcome we are expecting. And most of the time, that's a good thing. Because a lot of times we're expecting the negative experience instead of like the best possible experience that comes in and surprises us. That's where we step into that beautiful energy of awe and wonder with curiosity, that we are opening ourselves up to the magic of what we don't know, not the negative naysayer, kind of viewpoint of what we don't know. And so there's this feeling here of, you have to realize that maybe there's a reason why you didn't get that promotion where you're currently working, because it's time for you to move into something that's really going to fit your new elevated status, but that's going to require you to leave. Maybe you don't have a relationship now because it's freeing you up to focus on other areas of your life that will actually eventually place you in a position to attract a much different person for you than the person you are today. And these are the things what we have to trust as we are moving towards what we know we need fulfilled in our life for us to be happy. Okay, and for a final point, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card here for the concept of contemplation. And this is where Spirit, or what Spirit would like you to reflect on for the month of April, kind of an underlying message for this larger message here. So we have, I love it, Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. And then we have Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? This is a really powerful way to end. Again, really tying back to this King energy, but mostly to this Emperor energy of, how are you being called to step up and lead right now? Really take a look at, when we're thinking about divine timing and something that you feel has been eluding you, where is what you feel is eluding you? What has it opened the space up for in your life? Is there something within your life now where it's time for you to step up into maybe a different work opportunity, because there's an opportunity there for you to really step up and lead in a specific industry or for a specific business or market? Or are you being called to start a family because you're being called to help raise the next generation? But it's being asked, how are you being called to step up and lead within your own life? Where are you being led by others? And sometimes we're like, no, we're following our own path. I'm not doing what other people are telling me to. But sometimes, in not wanting to upset kind of the status quo, which is the Hierophant, the rules, and not wanting to kind of rock the boat, we are in choosing to follow rules that are keeping us from making moves that we want to make. We are kind of by proxy allowing ourselves to be controlled, allowing an external force to keep us in a place that we have the ability to move out of or to level up from. So it's really kind of saying, how are you being called to step up and lead? How are you being called to step up and assume the leadership role within your own life to navigate where you want to navigate to? And with Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher, kind of what I was speaking to the spiritual side of our experience. There's something here with the door to romance and temperance coming in and this whole element of beauty and devotion. It's about getting back to that place of stepping up into that higher version of what every human can step up into, which is the spiritual realm, of where we get a chance to really feel that connection to everything. And that so through understanding our own beauty, we see that beauty reflected in the world around us. And we are able to almost hold ourselves vigilant to devotion to ourselves as much as we hold ourselves true to showing devotion to others and allowing them to be themselves and allowing things to be as they are, but also showing ourselves that same devotion to allow ourselves to be who we are. So it's a lot of focus on beauty. There's a lot of focus on the higher spiritual realm here for you, Scorpio. I think this month is going to kind of, it's almost like you're going to have this kind of like, it's like a breakdown to break through moment where it's going to be like, wait a second. Why am I sitting here frustrated about this when I just need to take the action towards going for what I want? And I do feel there's going to be a change, but a change that's going to open up the door to the life that's been waiting for you to come and open it. I think that's sometimes what we forget, is we forget that it's not us waiting for life to magically manifest into heaven around us. It's about us having to walk the path, holding the key to our own door, and actually through our own free will, putting the key in the lock and opening it. I'm going to leave you with that, Scorpio. This is another beautiful reading. Every one of your readings is so much fun for me. It's always so poignant and powerful and beautiful, and I hope that you feel that way as well. For all of you who are not aware, I have recently updated my website. It's a little bit more personal for me, so you actually see pictures of who I am. But also, I am running a special for the entire month of April where my 1 hour I Am Illuminated tarot reading and personal review of your astrology and numerology aspects. That reading is currently 25% off throughout the month of April. And if I don't see you there for a reading, I hope to see you again in May. And I hope all of you have an incredibly empowering and liberating month of April. Bye, Scorpio.